Hello there. I am teacher Christabel. Hmm, I've missed saying that. I'll say it again. Hello there. I am teacher Christabel. Hello there. I am teacher Christabel, and I would like to talk about attention. hmm I came out of my cocoon to talk about attention because I believe that it is a concept that many educators have taken for granted for a long time. Now, all ye educators out there who go out of your way to acquire knowledge, skills, and you're building up a community of educators because you want to be spectacular at teaching. I commend you. But I also know that there are educators out there who do everything that they can. And they still find it difficult getting learners to achieve their teaching learning objectives. Now, it is possible that the problem is attention. How? I am not going to explain what attention is because I'm guessing that every one of us, have an idea of what attention is. But what I would like to talk about is the levels of attention. Many of you call it the types of attention, but I like to call it the levels of attention because studying the whole concept of attention, I feel like it is a graduation from one level to another. So I would like to talk about the fact that when children come into your classroom, it is safe to assume that they are in a state of non attention, meaning that there is nothing in your classroom that is interesting to them because they're coming into your classroom with a lot of things on your mind. Now, I said it is safe to assume, it doesn't mean that it always happens. But many children walk into the classroom with a lot of things on their minds. Sometimes these things are really sad things, and sometimes these things are just things that, excite their pleasure senses. So they come into the classroom having watched the movie the previous day and they didn't watch the movie to the end. So they're wondering, did the monster catch the character? And then they walk into your classroom with that on their minds. And some of them have had horrible breakfast and they're so upset that, they weren't served what they wanted to eat. And so they come into your classroom saying, oh, I don't know why mommy gave me this. I don't know why she didn't give me that sandwich. I don't know why she didn't put this in the sandwich, and so on and so forth. Some of them come into your classroom probably sad about, a sad news that they heard, or maybe someone was ill in the family, and all of that. So they come into the classroom and they're in a state of non attention, meaning that they are not in the mood to give you attention, to teach whatever it is that you spent the whole night planning. Now, if you dare teach these children with that state of mind, it doesn't matter how precise you are in the delivery of your teaching learning process, they will not achieve their learning objectives. And then you will begin to wonder, after all you did, why? Now, the problem is you missed the fact that they were in a state of non attention. As teachers, we have a responsibility to get children to wield different levels of attention. And this is the reason why our plans are segmented. Have you ever wondered why? Why do we have so many sections in our plans? We have to go starter to the introduction to the episode, and then the episode is not just one, whole episode is split into three, and each, presentation has a subplenary. Why do we have all those sections? It is for a reason, and I believe that that reason is attention. When children walk into your class in a state of non attention, you have a responsibility to get them to at least place your learning objective, what you're bringing into the class to teach, on the same pedestal as whatever it is they've walked into your classroom with. So that child who walked into your classroom wondering if the monster caught the character should also be willing to, okay, you want to teach about plants and so on. Okay, so maybe I'll just put it on the same level with the thoughts about the character that, was being chased by a monster. So what you should do is to get them to put it on the same pedestal. And the only way to do that is by exciting their pleasure senses as well. Because whatever it is that excited their pleasure sense that made them think about whatever till they came into your classroom, you have to come up with something as exciting that will allow them to put them on equal level of importance. Now, at this point, they're in a state of arousal or selective attention, meaning that, oh yeah, the lesson, it seems like it's going to be exciting. Oh, but the character, what happened to the character? So that's their state of mind. Now, when they have gotten to this level, please do not stop teaching your teaching learning process as you have planned it, because you have to get them to a higher level of attention, which is the focused level of attention. Now, the focused level of attention only happens when learners deem that your teaching learning process is important to them as individuals, as humans. So they want to believe that what you're about to teach them is important to them, is valuable. They'll be able to use it to make their lives better. They'll be able to use it outside the school environment. Now, if you're able to convince them of that, then they will give you focused attention. Now, when learners have gotten to the level of focused attention, please do not go to sleep, because it is important for you to know that learners have an attention duration span. So, if, for example, you are teaching 5-year-olds, the attention span of 5-year-olds is what? Do you know? 5 times 2 on the minimum in minutes, 5 times 3 on the maximum in minutes. So it means that the attention span of 5-year-old children on the average is 10 minutes to 15 minutes. So once you've gotten children to the level of focused attention, you want them to be able to wield another type of attention that will keep them engaged for a sustainable period of time. So they get to learn what you need them to learn and do their tasks effectively. So they need a different type of attention that I call the sustained attention. You can get a child to focus and not get them to wield sustained attention to achieve the teaching learning objectives, because those are two different types of attention ideas or concepts. So what I'm saying is get learners to the level of sustained attention where they can be effective in the duration of their attention span. And this is why we break our presentation into 3 parts. And each part, in my own lesson plan, have what I call sub-plenaries. So little activities, I take them to little activities, bring them back to the next presentation, take them again to little activities, bring them back to and so on and so forth. Another thing I do is to interject what I call intermediary starters, because at the end of that phase, they might need to be re-energized, re-excited, so that they don't drift back to whatever thoughts they came into the classroom with. So you get them to experience another level of excitement. So what you're doing is you are exciting their pleasure senses and keeping them within the classroom, like, stay here, don't go, don't leave me, I need to do this. Okay, so the 3 levels of attention is arousal or selective attention, which you must now graduate to focused attention, which you must now graduate to sustained attention, which is, linked to their attention span. A 10-year-old may not be able to stay on task for more than 15 minutes. If you do that, after that 15 minutes, they might delve down into the non attention phase. You get? Okay, so now I would like to talk about 2 other types of attention that I didn't put in the leveling for a reason. I would like to talk about the alternating attention. Alternating attention is getting learners to move from one task to another. So if, for example, we get them to do their starter, after the starter, they go into the introduction phase of the lesson. So they have to switch, they have to move their attention from starter to the introductory episode. After the introductory episode, we now go on to step one episode. So they have again to move their attention to that. Now, when you are alternating their attention, I often recommend that these episodes are not a sharp contrast from one another, because some learners don't do well in having to switch their attention between different tasks without ample time to adjust. I am like that. I find it very difficult switching from a completely a task I'm handling to a completely different task. It often requires like a realignment or a readjustment of my mind, and some learners are like that. So one of the things you need to know is that even though we have broken our lesson plan into episodes, we want learners to effectively alternate their attention between tasks. And this means that the episodes must not be sharp contrasts to one another. Another type of attention I would like to talk about is the divided attention. There are times when we give learners, a cumbersome task, a task that is layered. And so they have to do this and do that and do that all at the same time. Now, learners may be able to juggle, multiple tasks at a particular time, but there is a high level of possibility that the product, the final achievement, will not be to the level of excellence. So we must be careful as well, because one of the reasons why children may not be giving products or displaying evidences of well achieved objectives could be that you're making them wield a lot of divided attention, or even though you're making them wield alternating attention, it's not done effectively, and so they're not able to achieve their learning objectives. So let me round off quickly. We have a responsibility to get learners to move across the different levels of attention. So they come into your class with non-attention, and then you have to get them to the level of arousal or selective attention with your starter. And then after doing that, you need to get them to understand the value and the importance that the teaching learning process has for them. And this way you will get them to move from arousal, selective attention to focused attention. And then once they have gotten to focused attention, you want them to be able to achieve their learning objectives within a particular time interval. And to do that, they must wield sustained attention. Sustained attention is taken into cognizance the attention span duration of the learners within your classroom. And then the other two types of attention, alternating and divided attention, must be wielded strategically if you want children to achieve their learning objectives and give you adequate feedback. All right, people, I think I got to end here. Usually I say, all right, then see you later. Bye. But today I'm going to say, bye, people. I still am Teacher Christopher. Mhm.